For analysis of what was said on the stand today, I want to welcome in attorney Jamie White. Welcome to BNC Live.
Thanks for having me, Laverne. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you. Tell us, what were the standout moments for you today?
Well, it was another extraordinary day, Laverne. I think the thing that stands out to me and the thing that I was anticipating and hoping would actually happen, and I think it's the first time it's happened in the case of a white officer shooting a black man, is another white officer coming out to testify against that fellow officer. We've seen in previous cases such as this where people have to bring in experts and people from outside the particular precinct that's being addressed. Here we have a Minneapolis supervisor of Mr. Chauvin, that came out and in effect said what he did was wrong and not policy. And we know that the defense has a two-pronged strategy, it appears. One, that Mr. Chauvin was following policy, the other that this excessive use of force, if it was that, was not the cause of death. So this was a big deal. The blue wall of silence got cracked today for the first time to my knowledge, and I've been doing this 25 years.
That is an absolutely huge point that you make. I'm so glad that you started with that because I want to expand more on that. That is huge. What does it
Yeah.
say to you? Do you think that he is concerned because he is Chauvin's supervisor? Do you think that he is trying to avoid getting in trouble himself, perhaps, by saying
You know,
this? Because, as you said, officers don't go against other officers.
it's funny you say that. I was thinking that as I watched him testify, is this genuine or is this accountability and he can't get away from it? I don't know that it matters to some level because I think what we've seen in the past, we can go back to Rodney King and, all the way forward, consistent with what you guys did at the bottom of the last hour, and go to Baltimore. Right? I mean, you had the mayor of the city, an African American woman, who was demanding cooperation from the police department and was stonewalled in the Freddie Gray matter. So, we've seen this over and over and over again. So, for whatever his motivations were, for the first time, again, to my knowledge, we have a officer from the department that he participates in coming out and basically saying what he did was wrong and inappropriate and laying a foundation for a conviction. So it was an extraordinary moment. They said it was going to happen. I didn't believe them at first, or I guess I was pessimistic, but today it happened. So I
Skeptical.
think this is a good day going forward. And
So,
I guess,
do you
Laverne, the
think the
only other,
defense was prepared for that?
I do. I think they were. I think they knew that. I think they were probably preparing for the other three officers in this to cooperate at some point in time. It's just that kind of trial. And to your point, whatever the motivations were of Sergeant Poigle today, he, he had really no choice. I mean, to side with Chauvin at this point in time, if you're not a paid expert, is political suicide.
Do you think that maybe that they decided, and when I say they, meaning the powers that be in the police force, that they just knew that they couldn't fight what was going on, this worldwide protest over George Floyd's death, and so they said, you know what, we're just going to throw Chauvin to the wolves so that we can, save all of ourselves from further scrutiny?
I do think there is an element of that. I think that, this is a case, look, we all know, we've all seen the video and we know the evidence. Now we've heard the testimony and we've heard, the corroboration that this was not an appropriate technique. So there was no saving this man, even if you wanted to. He had worked with this man since 2008, right? I mean, there's something to be said for that, regardless of being a police officer or not. I saw pain in his face to some degree. I don't feel that he necessarily was uncomfortable telling the truth, but it didn't appear to me that he enjoyed doing what he was doing at certain points in time. So I think that between the city of Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota, and the attorney general of Minnesota, taking this so seriously, so immediately, these officers had absolutely no choice but to participate in these proceedings. And with the video evidence, anything short of an honest participation would have landed them in a courtroom as well, not in the side that they wanted to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're out of time, but thank you so much for that analysis. We appreciate you
It's my
joining us
pleasure.
here on BNC Prime
Good to see
Live.
you, Laverne. Thank you.
You too.